guys, welcome to the TBR Journey. My name is Heather and today I'm doing a December TBR. I don't normally do TBR videos, but I'm doing something slightly different for December in that I have quite a lot of author requests that I haven't gotten around to reading this year yet, and I want to get them finished and reviewed before the year is up, basically, because I did commit to them and I feel really bad that I haven't gotten to them yet. So without further ado, this is the list of books that I'm hoping to read in December. The first book that I'm planning to read is Don't Eat the Glowing Bananas by David D. Hammons. This is, I'm assuming, a post-apocalyptic kind of story. I haven't read much about it other than a little blurb. It's also a humour book, so I'm really looking forward to reading it because I don't read enough humorous stories. The next book that I'm planning to read is Double Trouble by Andrew F. Haydock. This one also sounds quite funny, but the text within it is absolutely tiny, so I'm not sure how long this will take me to read, but I am looking forward to dipping into this one. It's a humour book. I think it may be some kind of mystery, judging from the cover and the back, but I'm not 100% sure. The next book that I have is Luca, Son of the Morning by Tom Anderson. This is only a preview. I think I've got the first 50 pages from Accent Press. This comes out at the beginning of next year, so I really do need to kind of step up the reading a bit. I'm not 100% sure what this one is about. I haven't read really a blurb or anything. I picked this one up purely based on the cover, so I'm excited to finally read it and find out what it is about. The next book that I have is The Sea Slinger by Shom Dasgupta. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This again is another one that I don't really know anything about. I just picked it up because the cover looked really good, and I'm really intrigued to see exactly what happens in this book. The next book that I have is Love at First Flight by Tess Woods. I have started this one. I'm a chapter or two into it. This is basically a story about a woman who is going away for a girls' weekend and she meets this guy on a plane. She is married with a child, I believe, and he is engaged, but I believe that they start an affair during this girls' weekend away, so I'm intrigued to see how that all works out because it's not something that I would typically read. The next book that I have is Society by Alexandra Heelas. I did pick this one up when I was on holiday, I believe, and I've read a little bit into it. It is quite an intriguing concept, and I'm definitely enjoying it so far, so I'm keen to continue this one. The next book that I have is The Goblin Trilogy by Jack D. Hawkins. This is a mammoth 1,000 page trilogy that is a PDF on my computer, so I'm planning to read this in a book installment kind of thing, so I'll review it after each book rather than reading the whole trilogy and reviewing it all at once. I'm not too sure what this one is about other than it's a fantasy, obviously about goblins, so I'm still really intrigued to see what it is. The next book that's on my list is From a Distant Star by Karen McQuestion. I am actually currently reading this one and really enjoying it. I'm super intrigued by this whole concept of aliens that come to Earth just to observe, but they are just consciousness rather than aliens in their bodies. So I'm intrigued to see how this fits into the overall plot of the story. The next book that I have is Onyx Web, episodes 1, 2 and 3 by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. This one is kind of like a paranormal soap opera, I want to say. I have read a little bit of this one as well. I put it down just because it didn't grab my interest super quickly, but I am intrigued to continue the story and finally see what it is all about. The next book that I have is Dare to Dream by Karis Jones. I did start reading this one as well a little while back and I put it down for whatever reason. This one is a girl's having dreams about the apocalypse, and I believe it's got something to do with Stonehenge because the little graphics are Stonehenge and the cover is Stonehenge, so I'm intrigued to see how that kind of fits in with this post-apocalyptic kind of world that I'm assuming will happen at some point in this book, but we will see. The next book is probably the one that's been on my TBR the longest this year, and I have no idea why I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, and that is Orion's Curse by Amy Bartoloni. I read Andromeda, which is the first book in this series. I think it's the first book of this year, and I absolutely loved it, and I really should have gone on to this one immediately after it, and I just didn't for whatever reason. So I'm really looking forward to picking this one up and continuing this series. And the final book that I have is Last Bastard Standing by Sienna Cassidy. When the author pitched this to me in an email, I actually laughed out loud. It sounds really good. I believe it is about a woman who is overly cynical and doesn't really try to play nice with anyone, and I'm really intrigued to see how that works as a character because you wouldn't ordinarily think that that would be a good main character to connect with. So that is all the books that I'm hoping to read in December. It is a lot of them, so I'm not sure if I'll manage all of them, but I'm going to give it a good try. Let me know what you're reading in December in the comments below, and I will see you guys soon.